Hey guys, Joshua Peterson with Peterson Electric. I haven't done a video on doorbells yet, so I figure I'd help you out. A lot of complaints I get is, hey, my doorbell's not working. Thing I have to question is, did you buy a brand new home or an older home that was remodeled? 9 times out of 10, that door right here was replaced and a nail went through and split that wire. That wire is really fragile and it usually comes up the side of this wall. It can be broken in half or broken completely through in both conductors and it really not even cause a fire. It is a low voltage transformer that's typically going to be mounted somewhere by your furnace, could be in a crawl space, could be in an attic, but it does typically have about 12 volts that run to it. The newer video doorbells are going to be more of a 12, 16 volt needed at the minimum. My suggestion that I can see on some of them that I've wired is going to be the 20 volt. And then if you're 20 to 24 volts, you can get a multi-set tap transformer and change that out, and then that should work. There is a way to test though to see if it works before you touch anything. So I'll give you some free kudos today. But if you go in here and you cross this doorbell, you can see an arc there, but don't be scared. That's not going to shock you. I could touch this with my arm both, and it's not going to shock me whatsoever. It's 12 volts. And at 24 volts, you should be fine. Anytime you get up to about 60 to 80 volts, then I'd be a little more concerned. You're going to feel a tingle. But that right there, so I know that the doorbell's working. I don't even have a doorbell in it. I want to make sure that that's first happening. Second, when you mount your Ring doorbell, they come over here with a module that comes into here. Now, we're having an issue with this house with it. I've changed the transformer. I traced the wires in the attic. I've got everything working, and we cannot get this thing to set. So my thought is that there's something with the programming, but when the customer called and she was on hold for 2 hours dealing with this with the tech, she heard in the background a lot of other people having the same issue. So I don't know if Ring's got it figured out. I'm not picking on any major company, but I'm just saying since this new technology's come out, people want, when that video kicks on, they want to be able to see who's at the front door. Well, I think that little module they're putting in here, some of them are too large and I can't get the cover over. And Ring actually makes a smaller one and a larger one, but the smaller one I could get in there and you just parallel wire that in. And what I think happens is that when that doorbell ding dongs, this is a solenoid, it basically just wakes up this module and then kicks the phone to kick on, and it might be a repeater as well. And then basically you can start seeing what's at the front door. Well, again, we're having an issue with that, so the customer took it back to the big box store. She's gonna try another thing called Nest to see if that works. There are other companies out there. I think there's another customer that told me it was like Bing or Blink or something. But she installed it. She had no issue at all. But you do have to update update the transformer possibly. The wire, as far as it having enough power on it, well, you can have smaller wire that may have to be upgraded, but really it also can be based on what happens with the splice and if there's a nick. So you can do your continuity testing between that. It does take 2 people at one side to continuity test, but you also have to know how it's wired. I give you 3 little diagrams right here. I'm sorry if they're not the best for you, but this is your transformer, your low voltage coming through. This is a splice in the attic like I have at the house. We went to our chime and do our switch on our doorbell. I finally found the attic and the splice. I checked that, made sure that was twisted better, and that was part of our issue, as well as upgrading our transformer. You're not going to see this but in older homes like bungalows because they wired it different. In your newer homes, you're going to see transformers come out to a splice, and that's all in the chime, and it goes down to the switch. Okay, this you barely ever see, which is your transformer, and you got 4 wires sitting here in the doorbell and then up to your chime too. So how you know is there's only going to be 2 wires in the chime, 2 wires in the switch, or 4 wires in the chime, 2 wires in the door switch, or you're going to have 4 wires in your switch and 2 in the chime. But basically, in a nutshell, you can have an issue even with somebody stepping on a wire up there as they're putting more insulation in the attic, or just somebody nicking it with a staple or stapled it too tight. It is sending constant voltage through it with the transformer, so until the switch is actually engaged, it doesn't pass through to the chime. So there are many reasons why doorbells can fail. Squirrels and mice in attics as well chew them. But a lot of people say, oh, I just need to get a wire over there. Real simple. It's not simple. You have a bungalow home with an attic pitch that might be a 30-degree angle, and you can't get out to that edge without major damage, maybe through that laughing plast. Down below this area is all a finished basement. It's been finished for decades. There's no way to get a low voltage wire to there. Sometimes you have to use a piece of conduit in the outside of the house. Now, do you have to do that for low voltage? No, you don't. But if you want to protect it long term so the next Comcast guy comes through and doesn't gut it, you may want to put that in a conduit, but then you're going to be possibly looking at a little raceway at the bottom and then trying to get into that brick. You're not going to get it. You're not going to be able to get behind all this brick. So again, that becomes real challenging, is how do we get a wire down even through the structure? If the basement's unfinished, then that helps. But 9 times out of 10, when a house is this old, this house is probably 100 years old, we can't get down through the bottom with the cement, the deck, this brick, I mean any of it. There's just no way to fish it. If you found a way to fish it and you know how to do that on YouTube, great. Send me that video. I'd love to see it, because 9 times out of 10, we can't get through that without major damage. So bottom line, if you walked into a house and it's brand new and you have a cheesy looking, no offense, but a cheesy looking doorbell switch that's going to sit there and signal up there to a battery operated or a plug-in, that's the only way they could do that to fix that, so you could actually hear your doorbell when somebody comes in. Now, for all you that have bigger homes that are out there doing this with 2 video doorbells, and then you have a low voltage wire out the back because you've got a second doorbell that connects to that chime, that can be a little bit more trickier, because you may even have to up that voltage even more. But you may have to check with that provider who sold you that part and find out, you know, what kind of transformer do we have to have sending that signal. Then we have to ohm out those wires to see if they work. Again, hopefully the schematic will help you out. Hopefully you'll see what's going on here. But again, it's not always the failure, because we have proper voltage here. We have 19.9 volts. We've got our chime that we shorted out, and we know that it's working, and we know our transformer was changed out. So everything's in the go. It's just it won't sync. All right, guys, thanks for joining us. Have a good day.